Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers. I'm Bev Wakefield, and this is the podcast that breaks down the numbers in a way that actually makes sense and helps you to build a business that supports your life, not the other way around. In our first series, we really dived into the key foundations of running a business. We were looking at things like cash flow, common pricing mistakes, and how actually to get paid on time. In the second series, we shifted the focus to exploring how to design a business that works around you and not the other way around. Now, this series is all about what I'd do differently if I started my business again. This series is perfect for those starting out in business as well as for owners looking to solidify their foundations, values, and structures. Now, today's episode is all about building your business around your life rather than trying to wedge your life into whatever scraps of time the business leaves behind. So, if you're a business owner who's feeling overwhelmed, guilty, exhausted, or like you're spinning 27 plates in the air at once, then this one's for you. Let's dive in. When I first started Vibrant, my daughter was 4 and my son was 2. I worked just 2 days a week, squeezing tasks into nap times, evenings, and that odd weekend when it was really needed. I grabbed pockets of time whenever I could find them, and honestly, it worked. It felt balanced because my life came first and the business simply slotted into the gaps. But as the business grew, that balance slowly shifted. My life began to get squeezed into smaller and smaller spaces. Before long, the business wasn't just taking up time, it had taken up the whole room. One thing nobody tells you before starting a business is just how heavy the invisible load is. The mental tabs, the 3 a.m. thoughts, the constant soundtrack of, have I done that? Should I be doing more? Why is this so hard? I recently had a conversation with Nikki Perfect. She'd spent 3 decades in the police force. She said something that really stuck with me. You have no idea how much more you carry as a business owner. The responsibility, the pressure, the decisions, the wondering where the money is coming from. In the police, she was fully invested, but she wasn't the one paying the bills. And she's absolutely right. Being a business owner brings a different kind of weight because in business, you're not just one role. Because in business, you are leader, finance, HR, sales, the decision maker, and the one responsible for paying the bills. No wonder so many business owners feel lonely, even when they're surrounded by people. So what if I could start again? I would design my business entirely around the life I wanted, not the other way around. I would map out the things that actually mattered, my energy levels, the seasons of family life, my non-negotiables, my friendships, my health, my days off, my exercise, my thinking time, and most importantly, my rest. Because as the business continued to grow, that balance quietly slipped away. I moved to operating 5 days a week, filled with back-to-back meetings. I was barely coming up for air. By the time I reached the weekends, I was just crashing into the weekend with nothing left to give. And that was the moment I realised I'd built a business around being busy, not around living a life. If I were doing it all again, I would stop taking work away from my team. I'm full of empathy and I just didn't want my team to struggle. I'd stop thinking I'll just do it quickly or it'll be easier for everyone if I handle it. But all that really did was burn me out and rob your team of ownership. So your job as a business owner is not to do everything. Your job is to empower people, giving people trust, autonomy, clarity. Now that's leadership. Leadership isn't about doing more. Leadership is about lifting others up. And empowerment only happens when there is trust, clarity, delegation, and boundaries. To help, I started to use systems like Getting Things Done and more recent AI tools like Claude and ChatGPT. These tools help stop everything from swirling around inside my head because trying to run a business with 100 mental tabs open is the fastest route to burnout. You need external systems, not internal pressure. Now, let's take it to the flip chart. So how I actually worked, I was in back-to-back meetings. I had no white space in my diary, absolutely no CEO time, no thinking space. I was doing emails at 10 p.m. and working around the juggle of family life too. Exercise was being cancelled. I was trying to rescue everyone. Family time was being squeezed, and I was doing everything from cleaning toilets to tidying up to helping everybody out. I was surviving, not leading. And this was my reality. And if I'm honest, I thought this was entrepreneurship. Then this is where I built in the structure. So back-to-back meetings were replaced with deep focus, no white space, actually building in time to think. I was creating protected CEO time. Instead of doing emails at 10 p.m, I was creating those boundaries. Exercise, I only ever did it if it was in my calendar. So exercise was booked in. And I stopped trying to rescue everyone, and I actually started trying to create a little bit more clarity on what their roles were. Family time was booked, activities planned, and I stopped doing everything. We delegated things like cleaning and getting office managers to do certain areas of work and actually having responsibilities across the team. That meant I was then able to lead. And also when thinking about no thinking space, actually having time to work with a coach. This gave me space to breathe, space to think, and design the business that I wanted to. Now, this side isn't fantasy, it's design, and I didn't design it earlier enough. Now, I also want you to think about the wheel of life and all the different roles that we have. I want you to consider 3 of the largest roles that you have. My 3 are probably parent, business owner, and me, alongside everything else from friend, daughter, sister, and all the different titles that we hold. Now, guess which column disappeared first when I built my business around work instead of life? Me. And that is what I'd do differently. I'd make sure I focus on me and put myself firmly in the diary first. So what would I actually do differently if I started again? I'd design my perfect week from the get-go. Get the things in my diary that give me energy, things like exercise. I'd defined my enough number from the outset. I'd delegate, I wouldn't do everything. And I'd use systems like getting things done to capture all of those open tabs so nothing gets lost. Now, later in the series, we talk about the right work you should be doing too, and this is a big factor. This way you can build around life, define your enough number, protect your energy, design your diary, create boundaries, say no unless it fits, and let the business support your life, not consume it. This week, I challenge you to grab a sheet of paper and sketch your ideal week. Put you in first, then fit work around it. You deserve a business that feels good and a life that feels full. Next episode is a big one. I charge properly from day one. See you next week.